seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish, and I'm here joined with Roman and Drew. And today, the Texans had practice today, and the main storyline was Deshaun Watson coming back to practice after 5 days off. He was coming back from a ankle injury, a foot injury, or whatnot. And the main storyline was that Deshaun Watson was talking with Nick Caserio. He was talking to Coach Kelly, and Tim Kelly, Deshaun Watson threw some passes to the tight ends, some great passes to the tight ends, and Tim Kelly patted his shoulder, gave him some compliments and things like that. Deshaun Watson was also giving Nico Collins some pointers. So it seems like Deshaun Watson's actually being a good teammate, and he also made a nice pass to Anthony Miller. And after he didn't have a full practice, he had half a practice, and then after he left, he started signing footballs to the fans and throwing it back to them. So I just want to ask y'all, what are your main takeaways from these events?
First of all, I would like to go back to the injury problem that we discussed. I feel like maybe it's a little bit of an injury. See, the Texans are limiting him practice-wise. He didn't have a full practice, like you said, but he did participate in drills with the quarterbacks, the receivers, throwing to the tight ends, stuff like that, which he did very well. And I saw one insider say it was very obvious that Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback at the camp, which is something you would expect. And it just shows that we really don't truly know what's going on with the Deshaun Watson situation. That's what Ian Rappaport also said today. He didn't expect Deshaun Watson to even come out in full pads at all, but he ended up doing that. Then after practice, he had the interactions with the fans. And I'm not really so sure how to feel about that, because if you see a top 5 quarterback, of course you're going to ask for his autograph. And Deshaun Watson doesn't want to just turn down autographs. That would be horrible for his image, just flat out saying no to somebody who wants an autograph. So, and maybe it's interaction with the fans. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not too big of a deal. But I'm just really happy that he's starting to talk to coaches, players, and participating a little bit more.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson seems to have really opened up. I believe he's missed 5 practices, and today reported by Brian T. Smith that he had more reps today than really any other day. Like, he's starting to finally get more reps. I mean, obviously he didn't really get too much, or he didn't get any like 11-on-11 work or anything like that. But just having more throws, getting to, I guess, connect more with the receivers, and how Anish was saying about coaching up Nico Collins. I believe he's really showing his leadership. Like, that's something that we haven't really seen too much of in camp. Usually he's either had his hoodie on or really just been out of it. Like, he's been shuffling around. But today he actually showed willingness to show his leadership. And that's something that we really need. And I mean, if I'm Deshaun, and I'm probably saying like, hey, I'm probably not going to get traded this offseason, so maybe buy in. The Nick Caserio conversation, I don't really see too much in that. I mean, they could have been talking about anything. For all we know, they could have been like, hey, where did you get those shoes from? I like those shoes. Or anything like that. I don't think it meant too much. And then for the fan interaction, I mean, if for Deshaun's case, with everything that's going on with him, I find it kind of surprising that he actually did go out and sign autographs or whatever. So, I mean, I don't really think it means too much, but just the willingness with everything that's going on around him to go over there and sign stuff, I mean, it's very, very cool and very nice to see.
Yeah, and back to like the Nick Caserio and Deshaun Watson interaction. Apparently, according to Big Star Sports, that they talk pretty often, really frequently. They're in constant communication. So the video that was surfaced earlier today was just like the first recorded public interaction that fans have seen between Nick Caserio and Deshaun Watson. But that was that. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, he's actually been like we mentioned earlier, he's been pretty engaged in terms of like teammates wise. Like he was coaching Davis Mills earlier. He's been engaged in like team meetings with Tim Kelly in the quarterback room. So I think it doesn't necessarily mean that Deshaun Watson is like kind of realizing like he won't be traded and he's kind of buying into the Texans. It could also mean like proving to other teams that he is a good team player. He's not going to be like fussy when he doesn't get what he wants per se. Like he's still gonna have carry himself well in camp and not gonna act like a child, even though you could argue that wanting out after 1 year after signing a 4-year extension is childlike, but I think he's just trying to prove to teams that he's not going to be like a locker room distraction. And I think that was one of the biggest worries. And so with the teammates, like we saw from the first day of camp that Lonnie Johnson shook his hand. Deshaun Watson gave a handshake to a media member today. Like it seems like it's as if this legal issue is non-existent, which is really crazy to think about, like how everyone's interacting with him and fans saying, "We want Deshaun, keep Deshaun, don't trade Deshaun." It's just really weird, like how we go from saying that Deshaun Watson is going to be traded before the season. Now we think that he's going to play for the Texans and be traded next offseason. It's like so many things where we can go with this. So I just want to ask y'all, what do you think? Do you think Deshaun Watson plays for the Texans this season? And how do you think that will go down?
I do not think Deshaun Watson will play the Texans this season. I feel like even if he's not traded by our first preseason game, he will be inactive for that game. That's what I would expect to happen. And then if he's not traded, I still don't think he'll play because the Texans have kind of already been building a team, and that team hasn't really included Deshaun Watson. And actually, the biggest leader on this entire roster, I can guarantee you, is Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor has proven himself to be the captain, the leader of the team, the guy who is getting everybody to work hard, and you can't just not reward him. Tyrod Taylor has earned it, while Deshaun Watson has sat back, been acting kind of childish with wanting out. I mean, I understand, you don't want to play with Jack Easterby and Cal McNair, but Tyrod Taylor has earned the right to start on this team, and Deshaun Watson has all these issues, and I just wouldn't play him.
I do believe Deshaun Watson plays at some point for us this season. I don't know if it's necessarily week 1, but at some point I do see him playing for us. Like, I mean, it doesn't really make too much sense for him to be on the practice field. I know he's not getting any team reps or any 11-on-11 reps, but it still doesn't make sense for him to be on the field. Like in Nick Caserio's, I guess in his viewpoint, if he's not going to play for us, then why have him out there? Either put him on the inactive list, or just simply tell him not to show up, or just tell him to be in the training room or whatever. I don't know. But I don't see it. I don't see why he would be out there practicing. And today, apparently he got even more reps than what he has before. And for him to really start showing his leadership out there, I mean, it's starting to show like slowly into camp, very slowly, very steadily. He's starting to get more reps. He's starting to show more of who Deshaun really is as a football player. So, I mean, I don't know if it's week 1, but in my eyes, I do see Deshaun playing at some point this season.
Yeah, I thought like at the beginning of camp when they were playing him out of position like safety, linebacker, all these random positions, I thought there's no way we were gonna play him out there. And like I didn't think he would be ready by just practicing in all these different positions. But now, today when we are starting to give him QB reps for the first time, I guess, not for the first time, but like first actual quarterback reps, it kind of seems like they're ramping Deshaun Watson up and they're kind of like easing him into like to playing again, I guess. And I just feel like I see both sides of it of Deshaun playing this year for us and not playing this year. One, for the argument for that he plays for us is that it's kind of reminding teams that are lowballing us, offering us nothing, what they're really getting, seeing the talent they're out on the field again. Because it seems like they need a refresher, reminder on who Deshaun Watson is, a top 3 quarterback in this league, a franchise guy. Yes, of course, there's the legal issues aside, but like just talent wise, what are you getting in Deshaun Watson? And that's for the teams that are lowballing him. So like I guess we play him out there just to like kind of show teams what they can get for what they're getting in Deshaun Watson talent wise. But the argument for playing a not having Deshaun Watson play for us is having him avoid injury, not like lowering his trade value. But I think Deshaun Watson wants to play. I think it was reported earlier that he wasn't going to sit out. He wants to play this season no matter what. And so yeah, I mean Deshaun Watson still hasn't taken on his trade request whatsoever, but I see both sides of it. I can see both things happening, of course, just a matter of time on what happens. But say Deshaun Watson plays for us and he's locked in, what is your record prediction for the Texans next season?
I think that's definitely a playoff team, and I would say we at the very least would be 9-8, and I'd really expect us to be like 10-7, 11-6, because you see all this energy building up on defense. We see a more confident offensive line. We see a very great group of veteran running backs. You have a potential star in Nico Collins. You have Brandon Cooks already there. You see Anthony Miller impressing in camp. You got other tight ends like Jordan Akins, Brevin Jordan, Ryan Izzo, Kahale Warren even made a big play on Lonnie Johnson today. And the team is really coming together. And it's all about bringing that team together, building that culture. And with Deshaun Watson there, committed to the Texans, is obviously different than just sitting back and being lazy. But if he's committed to the Texans, that's a dangerous team to watch out for. And I would expect them to be 10-7 at the very worst.
Yeah, I fully agree with Drew. I do completely believe that we're a playoff team. More so like around 9-8, 10-7-ish. But one of the main things for me is the depth of this football team. We have a ton of depth everywhere, from O line to D line, to even the wide receiver room, and not to mention the running back room. We have three starting capable running backs, and David Johnson, Mark Ingram, and Philip Lindsay. Tight end room, as Drew was mentioning, is also stacked. The cornerback room has a ton of talent, a ton of depth as well. So I mean, this whole football team is full of depth everywhere that you look. Almost every position has a ton of depth, and then add Deshaun Watson to the mix. That's a very dangerous football team. Last year, okay, sure, we went 4-12, but last year we really didn't have too much depth, and this year it's a completely different football team from like top to bottom. A bunch of new players, and then the coaching staff. The coaching staff is also at the same time, it's a question mark, but then it's also very good. Like on paper, the coaching staff is very, very good, but we don't know how it's gonna pan out. I guess like during the regular season, but on paper, the football team, I believe it could really, really be dangerous with Deshaun Watson. So yeah, I would say like around 9-8, 10-7-ish.
Yeah, I would kind of have to agree with that statement. I mean, I feel like with Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson out for a good amount of time potentially, the Texans could win the division with Sean Watson locked in. He's obviously the best quarterback in the division, and I would say agree with 9-8 or 10-7, and that's why I thought Deshaun Watson could change his mind. Just seeing all the new improvements Nick Cassero has made. Obviously, we don't know if those changes or signings will pan out completely. Like, not all of them will per se, but I feel like this is kind of a last stand scenario. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers. He wanted out. He wanted to be traded, but he kind of bought back in, kind of like a last stand scenario. So I feel like this could be like a similar situation with the Texans, where we try to find this temporary solution where he plays this year, and we try to find better trade value next offseason. And the best part is next offseason, before the draft, we could know the order of the picks, so like we kind of maximize return that way, and maybe even trade on draft day, get a like picks from a year later in the future. So there's a lot of possibilities where this can go. But let us know in the comments section down below what you think will happen with Deshaun Watson. But as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.